Vivi is a highly important character in One Piece, regardless as to whether you consider her a member of the Straw Hats or not, and I know that it's such a highly debated topic. There does beg a question, though, as to what she needs to become a fully powerful character in the series where we are now. Because One Piece has changed so dramatically from when we last really saw her as a full-time character. So that brought me to the thinking, what devil fruit would be perfect for her? Now, there are dozens to hundreds of devil fruits that you could pick from, but when it comes to Vivi, there's certain aspects that we're looking for that would be, synced with her personality, like you would want for most devil fruit users. Although, considering a lot of devil fruit users don't get a choice into which one they get, they have to make do with the best that they have. In this case, though, I thought it would be a good idea to start off with a fruit that seemed reasonable that she could have obtained right up until it was confirmed that she couldn't have it. And that first devil fruit is Pell's bird fruit model hawk. Now, I know that seems like an odd one to give to Vivi, but hear me out. There's a big emphasis placed on her relationship with Pell, in particular the freedom and power that the Hawk Guardian for Alabasta has. There's like a whole flashback dedicated to it, and it's kind of treated as a big deal when he was supposedly supposed to have passed away. So, in a version of events where he actually did die, it makes logical sense to me that she might want to take that devil fruit to fully absorb the role that she sees as hers, but Pell saw as his, that being Alabasta's guardian. And I mean, to be fair, the hawk fruit is not a terrible fruit. It was one of the original 5 fruits that was flight, which is, to be fair, still a very big deal in One Piece. Not many characters can fly, even though some people use cheats on their devil fruit to achieve it more than what they should be able to do. And there's some other aspects to that to consider as well. For one thing, whether it was part of the fruit or not, Pell combined this with an aerial assault style, whether that was using some kind of machine gun setup or it was a part of the fruit. I think it was just dual-wielded machine guns, although we never actually saw, to basically strafe enemies from the air. This is a pretty effective tactic, dating back to biplanes in World War I. And we see its effectiveness all around in Alabasta, right up until it hits a wall, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. The other big advantage of this, obviously, is for speed. Really, this is one of the fastest devil fruits out there that doesn't have anything to do with like teleportation or warping space, because you're just flying over distance. And that's a big deal. It's good for scouting, it's good for dealing with problems that are on the move, and that stacks perfectly with the known factor that zone devil fruits do allow you to just repeatedly increase your physical abilities. As Rob Lucci states, if you just continually develop your physical abilities, the zone fruit really doesn't have an end to its potential. Awakening it can be an issue, as we saw with the guards at Impel Down, but as long as you don't do that, or you have the fortitude of mind to hold on to your faculties, you're good either way. But this still doesn't get around the wall, which is that zone fruit, despite being one of the earliest introduced fruit, don't really keep pace with the power scaling in One Piece. Not that there is much power scaling, because this series is all over the place with abilities. It's one of the reasons that we love it. But, to be fair, we're dealing with people who have the ability to affect whole islands at this point, and as we've seen with almost every other zone type fruit, they really don't stack up, which is too bad. Maybe if the hawk fruit had an awakened form that was actually more like a mythical zone, that might contribute more to power to it, but as of right now, it just doesn't hold up. Hey, if you're liking the video, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you more One Piece content in the future. Fury videos, power videos, devil fruit videos, you name it, we're going to be covering it on the channel. So go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you're enjoying the content. And logically then, you'd maybe want to consider a fruit that is immensely powerful, and there are many to choose from, but like I said, we kind of want this to fit within Vivi's theming and personality, and in regards to Alabasta, at least, there is a devil fruit that would be immensely powerful, and she could probably put to great effect, and that would be Crocodile's sand fruit. And really look at this. Even outside of Alabasta's desert, which gives this fruit a major power-up, there's still a lot to it. For one thing, you become invulnerable to any kind of damage as long as you're not getting wet. And, most devil fruit users aren't going to want to touch water anyway, so that's not a big deal. Another factor is that you can, effectively make kind of constructs. You can warp your body to form things. Not full-on tools, but, Crocodile's certainly been very creative with what we've seen him do. You also gain the ability to dehydrate things, in particular people. Whether this is said to be an insta-kill move or just one designed to render people unable to move seems to be up to the user. So while I couldn't see Vivi killing people with this, I could see her using it to effectively disable opponents so that she could lock them up. Another useful factor of this, although more useful when you're out of Alabasta, is that it can be used to create desert. As long as you can touch physical ground, stonework, wood, anything, you can turn it into sand. That's really potent. That essentially is allowing you to make continuously more of an element that you constantly need. Given that you can turn into sand and still slip through things, you're pretty good on obstacle evasion, power, everything. However, as I said earlier, these are also fruits that we want to, mix with Vivi's natural personality because we actually get to pick one for her. And in that regards, I almost think this fruit is too cruel for Vivi. She doesn't really like to fight that much. And as not being a character not drawn to fighting, a lot of the tools, particularly for this Logia fruit, aren't really constructive. They can be very devastating, and that just doesn't fit her personality very well. As a matter of fact, I could see her being very reluctant to use this power. So what would be the perfect devil fruit for her? I mean, you need a fruit that grants near Logia type abilities of power, but yet has a mystical symbolism tied to it. It needs to be a protection style of fruit to fit Vivi's personality, and it needs to be able to keep up with the scaling of other fruits in the series. I mean, what fruit? Oh, right. The obvious answer is that it should be the Phoenix fruit. And that makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, when you look at Marco's Phoenix fruit, it is incredibly potent. We see this fruit go up against one of the most powerful Logia users, Kizaru. I mean, that's the light fruit. And this fruit not only survives that fight, it holds him off significantly for it. And it has other benefits as well. For one thing, you're constantly regenerating, so it fits the needs of a Logia, but it gives you the benefit of healing. You can actually extend this to others, which very much fits with Vivi's personality of helping others. And in general, I like that it fits with the same theming of flight and freedom that we see with her tied to Pell, but it gives her such a bigger power bonus. So if she was to receive a fruit, I think it would need to be a fruit like the Phoenix fruit. But what do you think? Do you think she should get the Phoenix fruit? Is there another one that you think would be better for her? Let me know in the comments below.